Hi Papercrafters, welcome to another Design with Joe video. I'm Joanne Rogers, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Central Alberta, Canada, and I've been designing with you in mind since 1999. Today's video is an edited version of a live recording. Enjoy! So what is Case the Cattie? Case the Cattie is where you come and watch me create or recreate a card out of a current catalog that Stampin' Up! Has going. This is our 7th episode, so it is been very popular, so I'm hoping that you will enjoy seeing and maybe breaking down and giving you some of the measurements for working with these cards. I am going to be playing today with something, and I always post 24 hours in advance what it is, the page out of the catalog, and ask you to guess what I'm going to be creating. So I have that that I'm going to show you here in just a moment when I point you down, and we'll see, because when you guess, if you put a comment onto that post, then you could win the card that I make today. So I'm going to point you down, and I am going to start talking about the page. I'm not going to tell you which one I'm going to make quite yet, though. Now, if you are watching this on the replay, thank you very much for watching it on the replay. Please feel free to share this with other folks that may enjoy crafting or just want to see a little bit of a fun design, and maybe that person will receive the card from you. I love when you make them. So if you make something in the similar design, if you take that card out of the catalog and recreate it yourself, that would be wonderful. And if you post it in the comments, that's even better. So it's a way for us just to remove some of the mystery in some of those cards and have some fun. So this is the page out of the catalog that I am going to be recreating something. And I wanted to pick this one just because we currently have, up until the end of June, we have this bundle that's available. And it's the Hey Birthday Chick bundle. And it comes, well, it is a bundle. It's the Hey Birthday Chick set and the Birthday Chick dies. So these little dies go along with this stamp set. And so I think every single item is available to be cut out. So this guy here is available to be cut out the wrong way. Of course, by the time, no, that's not the wrong way. There you go. So that fits right over top. So these are such cute little stamps. And then we have a happy birthday in there, which I've used a fair bit, and a fence, as well as there's a die, a bow tie, some grass. There's a cool little bag of oats or corn or whatever. And this is the die for a banner. So there's lots of fun things that you can do with this stamp set, and it's got great words too. So we're going to use, we're not going to actually use this today, but I wanted to show you how you can take a design from the stamp, from the catalog, and you can recreate it yourself. So I do have alternate samples that I'll share with you at the end, and I'm going to make one featuring a stamp set out of the current annual catalog. So let's move this off, and I am going to show you the paper we're going to use. And you'll see the stamp set as I am working away. But all you need for this card is a piece of your cardstock, whichever you like, that is 4 1/4. So it's 4 1/4 this way by 11, and it's scored at 5 1/2 and folded. And when you're folding, you always want to crisp up your edge with your bone folder. So just give it a run here, and what that's going to do is make it lie flat and not open. Okay, so that's a really good thing that this is a paper crafting must-have for sure. Now, if you get, and I don't know if you can tell through the screen, I'll move it around a bit. If you happen to get a little bit of shine on your cardstock from doing that, and you may get it on the really dark ones, like black especially, just turn that over so that's on the back, and then you won't see it on the front. So you need a piece of cardstock like that. And then I have a piece of Mango Melody, and this piece is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have one more piece, and this is our basic white, and it's thick, and it is 3 by 5 1/2. Okay, so those are and all of the cards on this page are going to use something like that. Okay, so it has a little different look to it, this card, because what we often don't see is a smaller piece of paper that goes straight from top to bottom. But that's what this piece is. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to show you how to do some stamping with the Stamparatus, first of all, and then we're also going to do some coloring with the Stampin' blends. So I already have, I should show you what set I'm using, but I already have my stamps on my Stamparatus. So you might be able to tell over here what my set is, but it is the Party Puffins. So I wanted to do a fun card, a birthday card for you, and I really like this set. It's really cute. It's great for younger people as well as older people. So you can use it for almost all kinds of folk. And we're going to use today, we're going to use this one. We're going to use the birthday cake, the Make-A-Wish, and I'm also going to use these candles. So we're going to start by stamping this piece of cardstock here. So I've already got marked here because I already have my stamps placed where I want it to go. So I have it marked, and I usually always put my paper sort of in the center of my Stamparatus as opposed to up in this corner. When I first started, I used to put it in this corner, and it's always great because you can always easily get it back to that corner. But I found sometimes if I was wanting to stamp something on the side, it missed it because it was just too close to this edge. So what I do now instead is I move it out, and I usually line it up with my grid paper. I draw myself a tiny little pencil mark there about where it's going to go. And then I make sure that it is on there well with my magnet. Okay, so because these are puffins, I am going to coat them with black. I also have, I've taken one of our stamp cases and I've just put a piece of black paper underneath the plastic here. And when I do that, I put it underneath my Stamparatus, and I'll move that over just a little bit so it's easier to see. And this way I can see the lines a lot easier on my plate so that I can line up words. Now this isn't words, but it just makes it gives me a little bit of a cushion so that my plate lies flat against the stamp case, and it allows me to see. So it does double duty. So I'm going to ink up using the Memento Tuxedo Black, the puffin, and you want to get it really good coverage. Okay, so get it as thick on there as you can. And I'm just going to ink it. I can see it's not quite inked on that part there. So you're going to need to do these guys a couple times. So I'm going to stamp him down. And I forgot to get myself just a Kleenex, but you're going to stamp and sort of spread that and lift up. And you could probably see, I'll lift this up, that it's almost a little bit grayish in some parts. And so I want to ink that again. So I'm going to go back in and ink it up again. And I'm going to stamp it again. And I'm really more concerned about just this black part here. I want to get it as black as I can. And I might need to stamp that a couple times. Actually, that one's pretty good. So he's done. So I'm just going to give him a clean job right here. And I normally use my simple chamois, but I happen to have that right there. So now I have at the top. So I have already put my cake on. So I'm going to ink up my cake as well. And so we are going to create an image. I'm going to create an image here with that cake. So just going to move this down here. Okay, so the cake is going to go right here. Okay, and so what we've got is the cake right on top of the puffin's head. And I'm going to clean that and turn it over, and I have my Make-A-Wish on as well. So if you were doing multiples of this card, this is a great way to do it. Get it all set up, and you can either stamp all of your pieces of paper at one time, or you can do all your Make-A-Wishes at one time and put in and take out all of your paper, whatever works for you. Now I've got this, my camera is sort of in the way. That's why I have to keep moving this. I'm sorry about that. So there's my Make-A-Wish, and it's not super, super dark, so I'm going to go one more time. And try and emphasize where it wasn't really, really dark. There we go. Okay, so that's done. I'll clean that off too. So I'm going to take my plates out and you always want to store your plates outside. I'm not going to store them together, and why I'm not is that I've got a stamp on either one of these. So I'm just going to set them so that this isn't set down. I did that once, and it squished the foam on one of my stamps, and it just didn't work as well. So I'm going to put those separately and lean them up against something. Okay, so we are done with our Stamparatus. We've created our little picture. So this stuff here can go away. And I want to show you how to use your Stampin' blanks. So I'm going to start coloring. I'm not going to color the whole image because I do want to get on to the rest of the card. But we are going to color, and I want to show you how you can shadow. So we're going to color him, and there's not a lot of coloring for him. So this is my dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to color the bottom of, well, not the bottom of his feet here, and I'm going to just have it in the dark color. I just want to almost like Daffy Duck. Does Daffy Duck have yellow, or does Daffy Duck have sort of orange? And sorry, I need to also do it here on his beak. And I'm going to put it in both parts of the beak. And I'm using the bullet tip because the bullet tip is a little easier for me to control. So now I'm going to go in with the Poppy Parade because on a puffin, that's what they have. And then back in with my yellow because I want to blend out that red just a little bit. I don't want it to look like I have a line of red. So I'm going to blend it out into the yellow. And now I'm going to do the cake. So I've pulled in my Bermuda Bay, which is the color of my cardstock. And actually Stampin' Up! Doesn't have the Mango Melody anymore. Otherwise, I would have used that. And I quite like Mango Melody. So this is the light Bermuda Bay. And I am going to go all over the cake in the light. And you know, sometimes I go back and forth. So I picked up the light, that's what I'm going to color with first, but lots of times I go in with the dark first too. So don't let it dry too much before you go in with your darker color. And those sort of squeaky noises when you're taking the lid off, that's normal. So don't worry too much about that. So there I went in with the light first and then the dark. On the next one down here, I'll do the opposite, just so that you can see if there's any difference. So I'm going to go in with my dark now, and I am just going to pull that out. And for some reason, what I always tend to do is I have my darker, mostly my darker color as sort of the shadow on the left side. And that seems to be the default. So I'm now going to take my light, and I realize there's not a huge difference between the light and the dark here, but I'm just going to color it in. I could use my brush tip, but as I said, I want a little bit more control. So I'm just going to go over that area a few times until I can have it look very seamless, like there isn't going to be a line. And again, we're going to color the bottom, and I think we're going to use, actually, I'm going to pull in one more color, my Pool Party. So my Pool Party, I'm going to, and this is my dark, I think, yep, my dark Pool Party, and I am going to color the plate. So we're just, because it's sort of a very similar color. Okay, so, and I'm going to go in there too. And I have, of course, we have to have our candles done. So the candles, I'm just going to do lightly. So for something small, you just want to very lightly touch. You don't want to really color it in. You just really want to add a tap of color. Okay, so the blending is the big part of these, but you don't have to use them for the blending. So now I want to show you something that's sort of cool and that adds a lot of, what's the word I want? Not texture. I've lost the word. Well, it adds a lot. It'll come to me in a moment. I am just going to color. This is my light smoky slate, and I use this a lot. So I am going to just go over his tummy here, and I'm just going to draw myself a little line and down into the bottom of his feet. And I'm also going to do that around this eye part. Then I'm going to go in with your color lifter. Now, when you start getting your blends, you do want to get a color lifter, because what the color lifter is going to do is it's going to blend that line for me. So it allows me to pick up color if I happen to go outside the lines, but it also allows me to blend and get some shading so that he just looks like he's got a belly here. And I'm going to shade up into the rest. Okay, so what that dimension, that's the word I was looking for before. So it adds dimension to what you're creating. The other thing I'm going to do with that gray is I am going to, right now he looks like he's just sort of, I don't know, hanging out, right? So I'm going to give a little bit of a line here with my gray. And you don't need to be very precise here. A little bit of a line. I'm going to go back in with my color lifter and I'm going to blend that out. So I'm very lightly going right over top of it. And it is just blending it so it doesn't look so much like a line that I created. So it's just pulling out some of that color. So it just creates a little bit of a shadow. And then one other thing you want to do is we're going to create a shadow along the whole left side here. And I'm going to use my gray again. The two colors that I use a lot for this is my light smoky slate and my light pool party, which I could easily go with here. But because he's black, I'm going with my smoky slate. So very, very light line. I'm almost coloring into the image itself a little bit. And I have one of these that is completed too. You don't want to have a super thick line, and I'm just going to go around the outside edge. And I'm not going to go around the right side of him. I'm just going to go around the left side of him, just to give some added dimension. Okay, so I'm going to end right there. So what that does is it immediately, put that on, it immediately pops everything up. So let me bring in the one that's complete. Okay, so this one is done and this one's almost done. But what I went in with on here is our shimmery crystal effects. And I'm hoping that you can see that there. It's got some shine. It's got a tiny little bit of glitter in it. And it also has some dimension. So it's like got a 3D effect. Okay, so we are done with coloring him. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to put those blends aside. We are going to stamp the background here, and I'm just going to use my Versamark. So if you don't have all of the colors, that's where your Versamark comes in. So I'm just going to stamp the candles haphazardly sort of all over the place. And you do want them to be going upside down, left, right, center, all over. I'm just going to go around the edges because I know that my piece of white is going to cover up this edge right here. I can go upside down here. And there's our last guy. Okay, so just so that we have a little bit of fun stuff happening on the outside edges. And then what we're going to do, this piece of mango, which I managed to get wet somehow, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it through the brick and mortar. And I'm going to put it so that it's going to go on my card, and I want my bricks to be going this way. So if I want my bricks going that way, I need to put it in here. I do line it up. When they give me a line on the bottom, I line it up. Okay, so I'm going to run that through, which I've already done. Run that through my Big Shot. Oh, not my Big Shot, my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And then I'm going to take my stitched rectangle dies and I'm going to use the largest one. So the biggest one of these, and I'm going to cut it out. And so here I've cut it out already. I've got my bricks and I've got it stitched and cut out. So I'm just following the plan that they gave us. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. So I found what works the best. You're going to have a little tiny bit of waste here, but not a ton. You're going to cut this out. And if you cut them to be like 1 1/4, even 1 1/2 will work if you want. But I'm going to go, I think, 1 1/4 today. And it really doesn't matter. So if I go 1 1/4, you want the top piece for sure. And you want the bottom piece because you want the one that has the stitches all the way around. So 1 1/4 again for that. And then you're just going to take 1 1/4 here. Now I think I've done it at 1 1/2 on one of my cards I'm going to show you. I've done it also with one of the smaller. So you have, this one's a little bit bigger. You could do 4. I like the look of 3 because whenever you can do something that has odd numbers in it, even better. So you can use this for something else. So then what you're going to do is place these on here. Okay, and then they are going to go sort of haphazardly. Okay, and they're just going to glue down like that. So glue really quickly with your liquid glue. I probably should have done the middle one first, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. I do have my stitching on the top and on the sides here. And on this one, oh, I need to turn it around. I have my stitching on the right and the left and the bottom. So I'll put that one on too. And liquid glue is the glue you want to use here because of the ridges in the embossing folder. Okay, so liquid glue is really going to make sure that that sits down. And then this guy, I think I'll put right, oh, maybe here. Not quite at the same level as anything else. So it's a little bit cockeyed all the way there. Then I have a piece of my baker's twine, and this is from the Pets trim, the Playful Pets trim. And this is why you wanted a card that is 4 1/4 by 11, because we're going to have this go right around the inside. Okay, now lots of times I don't do this. I put on another piece of paper so you don't see the twine on the inside. But for this one, I wanted to show you exactly how it was made in the catalog so that you could see it. So I've pulled that around so that I have enough to be able to create a bow on the far left side. So I am copying. So once you've got your bow, just play with it until you can tighten it up. And baker's twine is sort of fun because it's a bow, but it's not ribbon. And for some reason, it's a little less intimidating for people. So I've made that probably as small as I want to make it now. I'm going to leave my ends and trim them off right at the end. Okay, so I've got that. And we're going to pull in this guy. Oh, no, this one, because I've got the... what is that again? Shimmery crystal effects on it. And then I'm just going to put glue all over the back of this because I do just want it to sit over top. It doesn't look to me like that one is on dimensionals. So I'm going to make this, it goes straight from the top right down to the bottom. I'm going to try and get it centered, get my bow out of the way. It looks to me like it's a little bit too far to the right, so I'm going to move that down a little bit. I'm going to try and get rid of that glue that I have there, and when it dries, I will go in with my adhesive remover and finish it off. Okay, so that is your card. Now I'm just going to finish off these. I want that bow even just a tiny bit smaller. Now, once you have your bow over here and you have the glue on here, you're not going to be able to move your twine. So let me just grab my scissors and I'll cut off that twine. Oh, I think about that long. You could go shorter or longer, whatever you would. Well, I think maybe we're going to go shorter because that's right in his face. There we go. So there's your card. And I do want to show you a couple other versions of that card. Now, just in case you thought you could only do cute with this one, because let me pull in the catalog again. Of course, all my stuff's over top of it. So here's the card here. Okay. And here's our card. So basically exactly the same card, also done with our blends. And they have also shaded here. And they have added another element where they've added additional balloons. But we are just, he's got a hat on it, or not his hat, his cake on his head. So there's that. Now, in case you think you only have to do cute, you don't have to only do cute. You can also do something that's a little more toned down, I'm going to say. I want that to be that way. And so here I've just used the Beautiful Moments is what it's called, but I've used designer paper in behind. So rather than using an embossed folder or just a piece of paper, I'm using paper from the hand penned, which has mint macaron, which I've also the green in here. Okay, and this is the pale papaya. So you can have a bigger bow and that will work just fine. And then I wanted to show you also a different orientation. So this orientation is a little bit different. And I did cut out one of those birthday guys. So he's not stamped directly onto the white. He's cut out, run through the big, I said that again, through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and colored in the same way. And then this is smaller. So this is the smaller stitched rectangle, one smaller than the large one. So you can go a little bit smaller. You just don't see quite as much coming out the edge. So if we compare the two, I see the blue in behind there, but it's just a little bit more subtle. Okay, so there's a couple ideas, and here I didn't, because my card is opening this way, I couldn't go around. So I just have my bow and the tails are coming here and it's not coming down through the bottom. So it's a sort of a bit of a way you can fool, okay? So let me know which one you like the best. And it'd be great if you could share this with people, and also make one and put it into the comments so others can see what stamp sets you think would really work here. So thank you very much for joining me. And again, please share and comment and let people know, because I come every Thursday. I wasn't here last Thursday, but every Thursday, and I will take a little bit of the mystery out of the cards that are in the catalog. So you want to start looking at the business page on Wednesday, because I will post the picture that I'm going to be making something from, and you can start guessing. And we will see you guys again next week, same place. Bye-bye.